Guys, how's it going? It's Al. Week 17 is here, and I've got a DraftKings lineup for you. We're going to take a look at building a tournament lineup for Week 17 of NFL DFS. This is what we do every single week. I'm going to look at stacking and correlation. I'm going to try and build a secondary correlated stack, not involving the quarterback, into this lineup, and it's a very interesting slate. We are back to the big slates, 13 games on this one in Week 17. No more of these pesky Saturday slates that I can't handle and can't deal with. Back to the big slates where we can really make some stuff happen in terms of tournaments. So thank you guys for being here. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the notifications bell, leave me a reply down below with which quarterback you are putting in your first look for Week 17. And let's go.
He's a legend.
By the time you're watching this video, there will be a Week 16 recap video out on the Al Smizzle Fantasy Football channel. You can just go search for it up here in the search bar on YouTube, or you can go to smizzle.tv/ff and it'll take you directly there. During the regular season, we had tons of rankings videos, Rainmakers preview every Friday. I've got the recap for every week up there, as well as a ton of shorts that are going to help you out as well. On top of that, once we get to the off season, tons of best ball information and season-long stuff for the coming year. So go follow and go subscribe to Al Smizzle Fantasy Football. Go check out the Week 16 recap video over there. The Smizz Gang Listener League is posted for Week 17. You guys know how to get there. Go to smizzle.tv/links. It has the links to that and everything else that I do. $10 to enter, 3 max, absolutely no rake, 3,000 seats. We got to fill it so that we stay at 3,000. If you guys fill it early, maybe I can get them to kick it up to 3,500 or 4,000 seats. No rake. And I will shout out the top 10 winners in that recap video that I talked about over on the Al Smizzle Fantasy Football channel. Let's take you already know how I'm using a quarterback because he was literally on the thumbnail that you clicked to be here. So thank you for clicking that. We have, as I said, a 13 game slate, and one game was knocked off of it and one game was added back to it. So the Steelers and Ravens were supposed to be on this slate, and thank God they kicked them out and moved them to Sunday Night Football, and we get the Rams and the Chargers. Now, it may not seem like a whole lot. That Steelers-Ravens game had a total of 36. The Rams-Chargers game currently has a total of 40.5, but I will take a domed game with perfect weather, with exploitable situations on a slate. We want to attack the Chargers defense with opposing running backs, and we get Herbert and his guys on the slate, and it's a late game, which gives us one more. We only had 3 late games before, now we have 4. So I like the slate better this way versus what they had before. Chicago Detroit, as you could tell, was going to be a game that we're going to kind of focus on here, as this one has a total of 52 with the Lions favored by 5.5 points. There is no other game on the slate with a total above 47. We saw this a couple of weeks ago. Team totals directly correlate with fantasy scoring for quarterbacks because as real life scoring happens, Vegas is good at what they do. The markets are good at being efficient and doing what they do. So when they set these really high totals and you get Detroit at home in a dome where so many other places are dealing with cold and wind and weather, as it is the end of the year, right? We do have the dead of winter at this point as we get to it in the NFL season, and all of these outdoor games are dealing with weather and wind and rain and snow and sleet and everything else. Jalen Hurts may be back on this one. He's priced higher. Patrick Mahomes against Denver, who has been a tough defense, just fired their head coach, but gave up 51 points against the Rams' anemic offense. He's going to hit his 5,000 yards. He's going to hit 40 touchdowns. Again, absolutely fantastic year for Patrick Mahomes. But we have 2 teams in this game that are really good offenses. Chicago with Justin Fields at quarterback has had the ability to score points specifically through Fields, even though they don't throw it a whole lot. And Jared Goff has some of the most pronounced home road splits. Jared Goff, when conditions are perfect, okay? Meaning when the weather is good, when he plays indoors, when he's not getting pressured or blitzed. Those are the 3 things that benefit him the most as a quarterback. You'd say, well, that benefits every quarterback. But you have guys like Patrick Mahomes, who on his career, and specifically this year, when you blitz him, his quarterback rating is still abusive to opposing defenses. It's not something where we can just blitz him and throw him off of his thing. If we just pressure him, we'll throw him off. Jared Goff, when playing at home, does better. When playing in a dome, home for him this year is in a dome, performs much better. And when not pressured, performs much better. All three things are in play this week. He's only 5,600. So if you wanted to go through him, I understand it. Averaging 23.1 fantasy points per game at home. But Chicago, and Justin Fields specifically, has a much higher ceiling. It's going to be really hard, really, really, really hard for Jared Goff to ever reach a type of ceiling like this, 40 plus DraftKings points. Like 30 plus is his ceiling. I know that he's gotten a pedestrian game against Buffalo last week. They're not going to throw for a ton of yards, mostly because when you look at Chicago's receiving room, we have Chase Claypool, Equanimeous St. Brown, Dante Pettis, Byron Pringle, and Velus Jones Jr. Like, there's not a lot here. However, they are very cheap. So, like, if we get word that Claypool's not going to play this week, we'll find out as the week goes along. If we get word that Equanimeous St. Brown is still going to be in concussion protocol, at least you know who the guys are going to be on the field, and they're going to play a ton of snaps, even though they're not going to get a ton of targets and not have very much touchdown upside, although heightened touchdown upside against Detroit. So I'm going to do things a little bit differently this week. I want access to all of this upside that Justin Fields can provide and can bring to the table, especially against a team that has struggled to stop literally everyone. So I'm going to plug Justin Fields in here, and I'm going to go after his tight end, Cole Kmet. It's not great if we're targeting wide receivers who get 4 or 5 or 6 targets, right? We don't want that much contact from a wide receiver. What we do want is this: 5 catches, 4 catches, 6 catches. Again, against a team that kind of struggles. He is 4,500, so he's the highest priced target of all of the pass catchers for Justin Fields, but at a position where it does not take much for him to pay off. 5 touchdowns on the year. Again, heightened touchdown expectation this week. They should have to throw the ball more. We could see 30 opportunities from Fields, as well as him being creative with his legs. I'm going to single stack Fields, but I'm going to use a double bring back on the other side. And Amon-Ra St. Brown has got to be where it starts. It's going to be really hard for Amon-Ra St. Brown to get the amount of targets that he gets. 12 turning into 11 catches. 10 turning into 9. 8 into 7. 10 into 11. Last week, 13 targets. The last 2 games have been very difficult passing matchups. Carolina with J.C. Horn, who left that game, and the week before against the Jets, he has not caught as many balls per target, even against Minnesota, who has struggled all year, another team that we attack, right? They're kind of a carnival team, really good, talented offense, really bad defense, very similar to the Lions. This number, I think he is probably our best candidate under 8,000 to have the highest probability of getting a 100-yard bonus this week, and hopefully scoring himself a touchdown, because he is going to get double-digit targets more often than he is not going to get double-digit targets. So Amon-Ra St. Brown is somebody that I definitely want to plug in here at wide receiver. And then we're going to get our salary relief with DJ Chark Jr. He has run a ton of routes. He is a little bit more variant, but at 4,300, we can stomach that. And we get a lot of upside here, as we saw with the 108 yards last week. We saw the 94 yards 2 weeks ago, week 14, where he had a touchdown and 94. And again, the New York Jets, very tough defense to attack. You can kick out passing stats, in my opinion. So like the last 3 of the last 4 weeks, Jacksonville, an attackable defense. Minnesota, an attackable defense. Carolina, if you're not the alpha, something that can be attacked. He has gotten back that big playability, a 51-yarder, a 48-yarder, a 41-yarder. And with the rookie Jameson Williams, who I believe honestly is a better wide receiver, talent-wise, pedigree-wise, all those sorts of things, he's just not on the field as much right now. They're babying him to bring him back from this injury that he suffered in January. It's not important for them to get him on the field a ton and risk further injury. They're going to let him get to year 2 next year and then phase him in a lot heavier. I expect a big year from him next year, somebody that we're going to target in best ball in the offseason, but like, we're not there yet. Right now, I want to know who's going to do well this week. So give me DJ Chark. So I'm going with a single stack with Fields, a skinny stack with a double bring back to get as much exposure to this game as possible through Fields' massive ceiling upside, Cole Kmet possibly doing enough for us at tight end, as well as being able to try and abuse Chicago's poor defense through the passing game, and hopefully those running backs on Detroit who are splitting so much work and just being really highly variant as a 3-headed monster minimum with Jefferson and Reynolds and Jamal Williams and DeAndre. He's not on the field at all. Like he's been again once relegated to Nyheim Hinesville or McKissick Town. I'm not a big fan the way that they're utilizing their running backs. At least it's predictable for us, but these two guys give us the most possible upside. Looking at the running back position, we attack Las Vegas, but it's going to be costly. McCaffrey up to 9,000 this week, coming off of a bad game where he was mega chalk in high stakes, very chalky in the Millionaire Maker. Only saw two targets. I don't know if that's going to dissuade people from playing him as much this week as last, because there are other options. The Rams are facing off against Austin Eckler at 8,500. We know that on the other side of this game, the Rams looked really spry against what was a very tough defense throughout the year in the Denver Broncos, but like they just quit last week. 23 carries for 118 yards. Had 5.4 per carry the week before against Green Bay for 13 double-digit fantasy points in 4 straight games. Still not as involved in the passing game as I would like, and I think that we can find better options, but he's going to be a good tournament option with a low floor, but we've seen the high ceiling at least last week with a 3-touchdown game. Even if you take those 3 touchdowns away, he's still got 19 fantasy points for his 5,200 salary, which is more than enough in that spot. So I think that this Rams-Chargers game could potentially be interesting, but I think that Saquon Barkley, if we're paying up for one of these high dollar running backs, outside of like James Conner against Atlanta, who stays at 7,000, 7,200 with monster games, like nobody's talking about this. Nobody cares. 25 points, 23.4, 25 points, 18 against Denver. Again, like I said, Denver's been a strong defense. Tons of opportunity. 7,200 against Atlanta, who has allowed the most red zone trips and is not efficient at stopping teams once they get into the red zone. If you wanted to go this way, I'm fine with it. I'm going to take a different route, though. I'm going to pay up for Saquon Barkley. We saw the big plays come back with a 27-yard run and an 18-yard reception. We've seen 18 targets the last 2 weeks. The Giants are at least fighting. They did lose to Minnesota. They have a really good matchup again at home against Indy. They are going to ride the hell out of Saquon. I think he's going to challenge for the 100-yard bonus on the ground. Hopefully he sees 5+ targets again. I'm never going to project 8 or 10 targets for any running back, but at 8,000, he provides us some salary relief, 1,000 off of Christian McCaffrey, as well as giving us that high ceiling 25 to 30 point plus upside for tournaments. And then this is a good matchup. And then, I mean, who do we pick on every single week? You guys know. It's very simple. Play running backs against Houston every single week. Without question. Just do it. Don't worry about it. He's going to get 20+ opportunities. They don't throw him the ball. I'm still mad. I'm going to be mad about this forever. Okay? I'm just not happy about it. The fact that they won't throw him the ball. Give him 15 to 20 carries. You want to pound the rock? Go pound the rock. Give him 15 to 20 carries. That's fine. But like, can we get 5+ in this category? Because like, he was like supposed to be this great thing in the passing game. We've seen it. He looks amazing when they throw him the football. You get him the ball in space and he just, there's so many scoot plays waiting in this body for him to just get the ball in his hands and then scoot, right? We just have that ability in him. We saw it in college, such a great pass catcher, but the system does not, it just doesn't do that. They just don't throw the ball. They don't scheme the ball up to him to get there. But massive big playability. 19-yard run, 22-yard catch, 16-yard run, 13-yard catch. Looking back on the season, 49-yard run, 49-yard run, 48-yard run, 30-yard run against Houston, 7.1 against them on the ground the last time. Oh, look, he got 5 targets in that game too. This is back when James Robinson was still the #1 guy. He's going to be extremely popular. 6,400. He might be the highest played running back on the slate. It's Monday, so like, I don't know yet, but like, Real Trade just said it in chat. Can we get Travis Etienne Jr. as many targets as Derrick Henry, please? I never in my life thought that I would say that sentence. But like, can we at least get Travis Etienne Jr. Derrick Henry's usage in the passing game? Please, I'm begging you. Come on. I'm playing him anyway because like it's Houston and they suck. So like we're gonna play him. Can you imagine if Houston wins that game and like Chicago loses and then becomes the #1? Oh, it would be hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Let's plug in a defense. I got money. I mean, usually we just plug in a cheap D. We can go a little bit higher if you guys want. I don't care. Play whoever you want. You can play. Hell, we could pay up and do this. Look at there. We get San Francisco's defense. I got 2 spots left. I'm gonna chase the ball around the roulette wheel. Okay? Please forgive me for doing so. But Arizona provides a little. I'm gonna go for our secondary stack out of this game. Arizona provides a little bit of value here with Tampa Bay getting completely dorched on Sunday Night Football. Like how the late game last night out of that 3-game slate, 11 targets out of nowhere. 10 targets against San Francisco, but 11 targets. Like, I just don't think that they can operate right now. With Kyler out for the year and Trace McSorley on the field, they want to get the ball down the field to Hopkins. They want to get the ball down the field to Hollywood Brown, who made a really good catch last night, right? Hollywood Brown did make a very good catch, but only 6 targets. That long of 47 was fantastic. DeAndre, good Lord. 10 targets, 1 catch. WTF. And a lot of that just comes from McSorley. So, like, you're telling me that because these salaries were done really early, and we know that Greg Dortch has been very good with the ball in his hands. Anytime given the opportunity, he is the most fantasy-friendly guy possibly on this team. And he's 3K. Assuming that we can project him for the same amount of snaps, not projecting the same amount of target, but if we can project him for the same amount of snaps and routes run, with McSorley at quarterback, he can't complete anything deep. So that means that Greg Dortch is going to have these easily convertible targets into catches. If he gets 6 targets in this game, he'll catch 4 or 5 of them, which is more than enough at 3K for me to want to use him in this lineup to allow me to get there. It is a fun week to make lineups, leaving us with 5,200 on the table. I need a bring back play, and I want to target targets, guys. 9, 11, 12. The change to the rookie Ritter has not changed Drake London's output whatsoever. He has not gotten the 100-yard bonus, even though he has gotten us 32 targets the last 3 weeks against Pittsburgh, New Orleans, and Baltimore. Now he squares off against Arizona. If he can get us like 5 more yards in this game, if he gets 10 plus targets as he kind of projects to do with his big body, he can definitely find the end zone against this Arizona defense. At 4,900, one of the better values on the board on a volume or salary perspective. When you have that much volume on DraftKings, when you have the possibility of reaching the 100-yard bonus in a game that, like, I don't expect it to go nuclear. It's got a total of 41, but like there should be the ability to move the ball for both of these offenses against these defenses, and it has to concentrate through these high target guys. You get a really high floor for only 7,900 in salary that allows you to pay up for basically whatever else you want as a secondary stack. Fields, Barkley, Etienne Jr., Amon-Ra St. Brown, DJ Chark Jr., Dortch, Komet, London, and the 49ers defense. I appreciate you guys being here. Go check out the recap video from week 16. Go see how we did. Look out for another video right there.
He's a legend.